Back in 2016, I don't think it would be a stretch to say that the most popular series on all of YouTube was Content Cop of the iDubbbz channel. With the help of friends like Max Mofo and Filthy Frank, Ian was able to build up a massive fan base of his own, and the pinnacle of his success was a series where he'd rip into other popular creators, with both mockery and valid criticism. Whether it was Jinx, Keemstar, or Leafius here, Content Cop took no mercy on its victims. By 2017, each episode was gaining tens of millions of views. But then after the Rice Gum episode, the series just disappeared. It's been 2 years since the last episode, and there's been very little in terms of news for if or when new episodes will come out. So what happened? Before making this video, I tried to reach out directly to Ian to see if he could shine some light on the subject, but since he hasn't gotten back to me yet, I decided to theorize for myself what would cause him to cancel the most popular show on the platform. And the longer I thought about it, the more it actually made sense. So today I'd like to share a few of the potential issues involved in making a show like Content Cop. Firstly, let's start off with a problem that arose as the series gained popularity, which is the fear of punching down. In comedy, it's traditionally been the case that most try to mock and criticize people that are higher up the totem pole than themselves, such as celebrities, businessmen, and politicians. In the case of YouTube, the same rule applies. To not appear as a bully, many will only make fun of creators with sizable audiences, aka picking on someone your own size. As I mentioned before, by the time Content Cop halted production in 2017, it was the biggest show on the entire internet. For most YouTubers, that would be great news, but in Ian's case, I can imagine picking targets must have become very difficult. Sure, there are plenty of channels that warrant criticism from iDubbbz, but they now had a significantly smaller reach compared to a series that was consistently bringing in 10, 20, and sometimes even 30 million views per video. Ian going after a small fish would put him at risk of looking like a bully. That's not to say you're not allowed to punch down in comedy. In fact, I personally consume a ton of content that fits that description. But what I've noticed is that fan bases for comedy that kicks people while they're down are extraordinarily toxic. Something that Ian might not have wanted, which actually leads me perfectly into my next point. One thing I noticed happening during the rise of Content Cop is just how cancerous his fan base was becoming. It's not unusual for a community to go down the drain once a larger group infiltrates it due to popularity. That's just the online cycle. But I recall back in 2017, iDubbbz subscribers were becoming especially bad. They all went around acting like Content Cop was a death sentence to any creator featured in the series. While this wasn't true, the fact that these people believed it, then gleefully discussed what internet celebrities should have their livelihood destroyed next because they simply didn't like them, made it clear this wasn't good company. I can't say for sure if Ian was bothered by this vitriol, but speaking from personal experience, there have been many times in my career when I saw that my content was reaching an unwanted group. So I slightly changed my content and delivery to try my best to steer away from the more cancerous communities. Maybe Ian has done the same thing since the videos he now makes aren't nearly as vicious as back when he was known to mock YouTubers and bad Kickstarter projects all day long. The next potential reason for the end of Content Cop is the YouTube adpocalypse. I feel like I bring this up in every video, but it truly was a catalyst for what types of videos are profitable on the platform. iDubbbz rose up in a golden age of YouTube commentary, where you could basically do whatever you felt like with videos having very little risk of deletion, blacklisting, or demonetization. Skip forward to 2017 when the last episode of his popular series was created and things had changed. Content Cop could now be considered cyberbullying, and episodes had a strong chance of getting the yellow $ treatment. Add this to the widely held belief that YouTube was now deranking popular YouTube commentators like Leafius here, and it wouldn't be unwarranted for Ian to feel like he could be the next victim of this if he didn't step away from the drama. Speaking of drama, I think avoiding potential demonetization is just one of the many reasons why it's better to stay out of it. While yes, Ian always came out ahead in his internet feuds, looking like the winner up until he left the arena in 2017, you must realize that every single time he'd put out a new content cop, he was opening himself up to a lot of scrutiny for not just him, but also his YouTube friends and his girlfriend. All it would take is one slip up for the internet to turn on Ian or the people around him. Uploading a new content cop was essentially rolling the dice on if this would be the time people would disagree with him. I recall in an interview, Ian said that he'd call the police before uploading just to let them know that someone might try to swat him, and I don't think he was being overly paranoid with that thought either. Sure, it might be fun to be known as a person that's able to end a YouTuber's career with a single video, but on the flip side, it also means a lot of people would be holding grudges against you on and offline. Every time he'd show up to an event like VidCon, he'd have to worry about running into one of the many people he had called out in the past. While all of the points I'm bringing up are valid reasons why someone would want to discontinue such a successful series, I think you can boil it all down to one simple point. The truth is, Ian doesn't have to make Content Cop, so therefore he doesn't. That might sound like an obvious statement merely pointing out a YouTuber's free will, but considering his other content still pulls in millions upon millions of views, even when he's not dressed up like a police officer, really does take the pressure off. Unlike someone such as the Nostalgia Critic, who is forced into the confines of his character to maintain an economically feasible fanbase, iDubbbz is so popular that this isn't really a problem for him. While his modern videos don't usually get 20 million views, on a bad day the 3 million he pulls in is more than enough to live very comfortably on. So no matter what the reason for the end of Content Cop, all that is important is that Ian's in a position where he doesn't feel that he has to make them. With all that being said, there's always a chance iDubbbz can bring back the beloved series, either for a one-time event if he feels it's necessary or to get back to his roots. I mean, it's not like he ignores the existence of Content Cop either. In fact, in a recent video, he includes a joke about the next episode being against Garfield. While I'd personally like to see it come back, at the same time, I can understand why it probably won't. So I had a sponsorship I could put on this video, but I decided not to and wait for next time, because instead I wanted to talk about how I just went to see the Joker movie. So this is actually filmed a little bit later than when I filmed the rest of this video, if I look a little bit different right now. Anyway, that's beside the point. Let me talk a bit about my Joker experience. So I went to the theater and I asked for one ticket. The woman behind the counter looked a little suspicious about that, but she gave me the ticket. And then I went and they gave me a free poster to the movie. So that was pretty cool. And with that, I got myself some chicken tendies. That is not a joke, I actually did it, and I wasn't even thinking about it at the time, how that would all connect. I got my chicken tendies, they were good, and I went into the movie, and the theater was not really filled that much. I was actually surprised, I thought it would get filled up a bit more, but it wasn't. And I watched the movie, and surprisingly, Joaquin Phoenix actually does talk about how we live in a society in the film. The bigger reason why I decided to see this on day one for the first showing that was available was because I wanted to see if all of this controversy that the media has been spreading about this film was justified in any way, and it really wasn't. Yes, the movie was disturbing, but at no point did I feel like they were trying to make you feel that we should be supporting the Joker's actions. That was completely fabricated. I don't see how anyone could think that they should agree with the Joker because of this film. He is played as if he's a lunatic the entire time. He has mental problems and he goes crazy. That is really what it comes down to, and he is also pretty pathetic as well. So because of that, I don't understand why people were claiming that this movie should have been pulled from theaters and other crazy stuff like that, because it just wasn't an issue. The greatest thing about the story was when I went out into the parking lot after the film was finished, there was a local news station there interviewing a guy, and this person was spinning them a tale about how he lives in a society, how him and all gamers are oppressed, and how he was going to see the movie by himself and only buying one ticket. I think he also mentioned something about Veronica in there. He was just going and giving them the meme story, and they were eating it up. I'm not sure if they realized he was trolling them or not, but they kept on interviewing him, and that was going to show up on the local news, and a ton of boomers were going to believe it's real. And as they're interviewing this guy, there's other people in the background yelling, "Gamers rise up." It was amazing. I'm so glad I went. So yeah, the Joker movie was good, but the experience around going to see the Joker movie on opening night was even better. So yeah, if you are interested in it, you will probably like it. And yeah, it was pretty good. So I'll end the video here, and until next time, thank you for watching.
Hello.